Hello, Beth Lambert here to talk to you about my personalized journey and why I do what I do. So, here is a lovely, very flattering picture of me as a student in high school science class. As a former English teacher, it's sort of correct to infer that science was not my favorite subject, but I'm smiling there as pictured because I love school. I liked how school worked for me. I felt like I could do it. I could play that game of school. Like I could listen to a teacher, I could sit in rows, fill out those bubbles, and I even relished getting mass amounts of feedback in I shudder to think red ink in red ink with for my English essays. So it worked for me. So I became a teacher, and I realized, gee, this one path didn't work for everyone. You can see here when trying to jam worksheets and bubble sheets and rows and all that, it can lead to what you see on your screen here. So I thought, gee, I need to reinvent my practice here. So what I decided to do is start with from a place of empathy, and I engaged my students in the conversation, and I started to plan units with my students and see what their needs were. Basically, I started to personalize my learning. I even had them write down what would make school better. So I'm thinking that we should hire my former student Jure because she articulated that more personalized learning strategies will improve the school system. So future education elements consultant right there. So when I started to personalize learning, this is what it looked like. It was collaborative, it was generative, and there was joy, smiles. People were happy to come to my class. It was student-centered. They were at the center of the experience, and we were co-creators in the journey together. Then we went virtual. And although this is the year that I joined Education Elements, my first year out of the classroom, I still had a lot of relationships with students. So what I did was engage them in focus groups. I wanted to hear now in this virtual space, what do y'all want? And this is what I'm hearing from them.
You don't have to sit down and go by the book to be a good teacher. You don't have to follow the exact curriculum to be a good teacher. It's the way that you grasp your students' attention and the things and the way that you teach your students.
So I was hearing that the way we connect with students is still very important in this virtual space. And I think that this is what we should all be focusing on this year. How can we first create this creative, collaborative, tightly knit community in a virtual space? And that's what I'm excited to work with teachers this year on brainstorming. So to conclude here, the benefits from personalized learning is we have more motivated students, grateful students, successful students, graduating, going on to wonderful things in their life. Oh, and one side note here, this little guy came into my life and about 3 years ago. This is my son, Michael. And I just wanted to say that my personalized learning journey got a little bit more personal. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because my friend here is a unique soul and he's the best ever. And especially when he gets that one-on-one creative attention and somebody takes the time to tap into his creative potential, he blossoms. But to be quite frank with you, he'd rather be on his bike. And this is an image one of my former students made in homage to my son here. So personalized learning has become very personal to me, even more so in this era of virtual learning, because I am, the one delivering a lot of the instruction for him. So in the end, personalized learning is about finding your path, finding what works for you, and helping students tap into that understanding of themselves. Thank you for listening. Take care.